Man's best friend has been around since the dawn of time. Perhaps not in the most traditional sense, but there, nonetheless. Woof. Look at this picture that I drew of an early Homo sapien walking his dinosaur. Now we don't have proof that something like this actually took place. I just thought it was pretty creative. What I'm trying to poke at here, folks, is that we've spent our entire history coexisting with dogs happily and harmoniously. Yet, despite all of the joyous memories and laughter and love, there's still one burning question deep in all of our souls.
Excuse me? What are you thinking? Do you have anything to say to me?
The concept of having an animal best friend who never speaks a single word to you throughout their entire life is objectively intriguing. So intriguing, in fact, that it has driven us as humans to undertake one of our most vulnerable activities: creation. Nothing is more telling about the true nature of an individual than the way they write dialogue for animals. And no vessel displays this idea better than the talking dog movie. Dog movies as a category can actually be split up into 3 subcategories. The first being the movies where they don't talk, okay? These are your Air Buds, your Beethovens, your Winn-Dixies, you know, you get the idea. To discuss talking dog movies, however, there is a very important distinction that needs to be made. Do they animate the mouths? Take the Shaggy dog, for example. When he's a dog, we're able to hear his thoughts, but his dog mouth never actually moves. Someone out there saw the Shaggy dog and said, no, that's not enough, okay? I don't want telekinesis. I want to talk to my fucking dog. In the years that followed, we began to see some of the most grotesque CGI filmmaking to ever touch the silver screen. And just in the past 3 days, I managed to watch pretty much all of them. So today, I'd like to take a walk back through history and answer the burning question on everyone's mind. 2008, baby, fuck a recession. Let's just throw some shit at the wall. That was the line of thinking that drove most filmmaking for the better half of a decade post-recession. And I don't think I'd be wrong in saying that a handful of films from this period are severely underrated classics. Ladies and gentlemen, one of those films is Beverly Hills, Chihuahua. If you told me in 2025 that Drew Barrymore would be starring alongside George Lopez in a romantic comedy, I would not believe you. And then after you left, I would look it up just to be sure. Because we all know how this would go nowadays, okay? Boom, boom. And I know what you're all thinking. Yes, he would use the accent. I chose to start with Beverly Hills, Chihuahua because I believe that it's the model for all of the talking dog films that came after it. And one more time, to be entirely clear, this is the type of talking that we're looking for.
Sorry I'm late. We had to do a little shopping.
Now that's the way to travel. Oh, I'm so jealous.
Oh, Fabu.
Louis Vuitton never looks so good.
The story follows Chloe, who has just been left with a babysitter for the weekend that plans on doing literally anything but babysitting. A debaucherous game time decision lands Chloe in the backseat of a convertible headed straight for Mexico, where she eventually gets separated from her babysitter, launching both parties into a mad dash to find one another. There are 2 other notable dogs in this movie, Poppy and Delgado. Delgado, voiced by Andy Garcia, is an ex-cop dog who lost his ability to smell after the tragic loss of his partner. It's actually very sad. Look how sad he looks. After meeting in and escaping an illegal dogfighting pound, Delgado and Chloe decide to team up to help Chloe find her way home. We'll get back to them in a few, but first, we need to talk about Poppy. Poppy is the George Lopez dog, and he's the character that's in charge of helping the humans track down Chloe's scent. Allow me to say this. Casting George Lopez as a goofy talking chihuahua whose dialogue consists only of aggressively stereotypical Mexican quips in 2008 is like jangling keys in the faces of white America.
I think of you day and night. Hold your tacos.
I mean, at this point, George Lopez's voice was fully nestled into the average American subconscious on account of his show essentially acting as white noise in the middle of the night. So plastering him front and center on the promo was a dead ringer. However, matters become a bit more confusing when you watch the movie and realize that Poppy only has like half the screen time that Chloe does. Oh, wait, that's not confusing. That's marketing misogyny. Look at this. In one of the teasers for the movie, Poppy does an entire rap about being a Chihuahua while Chloe just sits there in silence, dripped out in her Louis fit. Let her spit! Oh, yeah, that reminds me. Let's take a look at those mouths.
You, that scent. Where did you get that scent?
Maybe you haven't noticed, but I'm currently napping in a sewage pipe here.
Oh, you mean the moldy taco?
No, fool.
One of the things that makes this movie work is the subtlety of the CGI. Yes, watching a dog's lips move in ways that they don't naturally move is generally off-putting, but I believe this film found a healthy medium kind of on the first try. It may sound ridiculous, but that slight understatement in animation allows the audience to accept it as natural, which is, I mean, an extremely important factor when it comes to connecting to the story. Sure, it's not the most life-changing story in the world, but there's adventure, there's comedy, and there's really solid voice acting.
American dogs are so gullible. Chico, who is the greatest conman in Mexico?
You are. Now, can we steal some lunch? I'm hungry.
Where did you get that? Please don't eat me, man. I got a wife and 300 kids to feed.
I appreciate that for the most part, the humans stay out of the way of the story to, you know, let the dogs talk. After all, one of the main goals of a talking dog movie should be to make the humans look considerably dumber than the dogs. Can you imagine a movie about humans effortlessly outsmarting their dogs for an hour and a half? I just feel like that would get really sad. Oftentimes, writers on projects like this are guilty of falling into the look who's talking trap, where they put themselves under the impression of, oh, well, as long as a dog is saying it, it's gonna be an absolute knee slapper.
Whoa, awkward.
All dog movies are guilty of it, but I feel like it's how you work around those moments that determine whether or not I'm gonna make it through the whole thing. The greatest part of the film is when they meet Monty and he takes them to the secret Chihuahua kingdom. Not only is it an incredibly charming sequence that contains hundreds and hundreds of my favorite breed, it also reminds us why this movie was made in the first place. To celebrate the dog. Okay, guys? Lock in on this, because now we need to move forward. Like I said, this is the model. So what the fuck happened after this? Sorry guys, I just, what is that? Is that a cow? Is that, today's sponsor is Moomoo! Moomoo is a free investing app where you can trade stocks, ETFs, and options. There are $0 commissions and $0 contract fees for stock and ETF options, plus access to an insane amount of data and news to help you become a better investor. Let me yap about some of Moomoo's prime features though, because you guys know I love to yap. Moomoo is an excellent place to trade options. With detailed analysis, unusual options activity, customizable option chains, zero contract fees for stock options, and low contract fee index options. Paper trading is a stock trading simulation with thousands of other users where you can practice investing in the real market without real money. And I think that's a really cool tool. I think that can be super useful for new investors. Top it all off with an intuitive, customizable desktop platform with a brand new drag and drop algorithmic trading feature, and you've got magic. Excellence. Splendor! Moomoo is also giving new users 8.1% APY interest on your uninvested cash for a limited time while you plan your first trade. Plus, if you're already a trader and want to graduate to a more sophisticated platform, transfer your portfolio to Moomoo and earn up to $300 in cash rewards. So head to the link on screen or the link in the description to get started with your investment journey today with up to 15 free stocks when making a qualified deposit.
This is Simon Bar Sinister, the wickedest man in the world. He was evil and crazy. Simon and his wacky henchman Cad schemed to rule the universe. But each time they were foiled by me, the greatest superhero who ever lived. Underdog!
Underdog, the movie based on the 1960s cartoon, was everything other than people expected it to be. Some poor son of a bitch had to wait almost half a century for this movie to come out, and my only hope is that they did not live to see the day. Underdog is supposed to be about a dog named Shoeshine Boy who turns into his super alter ego Underdog when his love interest is in danger. That's it. You'll probably notice one major aspect missing from this equation though. Underdog's owner, And that's because he doesn't have one. Well, according to Disney, a super-powered flying talking dog is not interesting enough on its own. No. He needs cop lore and he needs Jim Belushi. Oh, this is also our second ex-cop dog, so, you know, do with that what you will. Jim's got this son, Jack, who's an absolute piece of shit. You know, he's that highly unrealistic character that, for whatever reason, thinks dogs are stupid.
Hey, look at that. I think we should call him Shoeshine.
Well, considering all the other things he probably licks, I think that's the best call.
Man, shut your bitch ass.
And obviously from this setup, we can infer that by the end of the movie, they're going to be the best of friends. But here's the thing. I don't care about that because that's not what Underdog is about.
Just hold him.
This is what Underdog is actually about. And coincidentally enough, the two best human performances in the entire movie are given by the human characters that actually exist in the source material. What I believe to be the biggest pitfall in talking dog movies, as we'll see moving forward, is the reliance on the humans to move the plot. This is especially ineffective when the whole appeal of the character in this movie is that he's a dog that is more capable than the average human being. And remember, these are talking dog movies, so I wouldn't make this argument about a movie like Marley and Me, where Marley is simply the centerpiece of a larger story about a family. Does that make sense? All of this being said, nothing saves this movie from being downright upsetting for the audience, mainly on account of the fact of the absolutely putrid acting.
Shoeshine, don't do it! No!
Even Jason Lee, who plays Underdog, just keeps the same cadence and tonality the whole time, making what the film believes to be comedic moments incredibly stale.
Why, oh why, have you called for help? I was flying by when I heard you yelp.
Oh, help. Right. I'm out of food.
Your bowl is empty, that is true. Might I have a date with you?
Excuse me, do you only speak in rhyme?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Underdog's whole thing is that he speaks in couplets, which, oh my god, thank god they didn't roll with too hard. That would have been a nightmare. But in the movie, they try to create this running gag where he can never actually get it right, which would probably be really funny if Jason Lee didn't sound like the poster child for Vicodin.
There's no need to worry. Underdog is furry. That's not it.
And before I forget, let's talk about this mouth movement. I would argue that it is the most cartoonish thing about this movie. If it had the color and energy and excitement of a cartoon, I would say that the mouth movements don't look out of place at all. But due to the fact that I feel like I'm watching Zack Snyder's version of Underdog, it becomes rather grotesque after a while. Look, it looks like they're eating. Underdog was unfortunately my most upsetting rewatch in the process of making this video. That is not how I remember Underdog at all. What's most upsetting is that when I watch this film, I don't see the bond between human and animal. I see a human learning to accept an animal because, remember, Jack doesn't even like dogs. I don't think it's unreasonable to assume that if Shoeshine never got his powers, Jack wouldn't give a shit about it. Bringing to light yet another reason why we don't need to be integrating humans into already dog-driven stories. There's no purpose. What I will give it credit for is having a somewhat compelling plot, albeit not nearly as compelling as Beverly Hills Chihuahua, but things do happen in this movie. So let's talk about a movie where pretty much nothing happens. Marmaduke. Based on Brad Anderson's comic strip of the same name, first created in 1954, Marmaduke takes all of the worst parts of the character and makes an entire movie out of it.
Wake up! I'm up! Come on, Bill, let's do
Same
it!
dog, different floor.
Yes! New city, new house, new smells! Woo! Good morning, Orange County!
One may think, well, at least we have Owen Wilson at the helm, a Lightning McQueen. Okay, this can't be that bad, right? The Marmaduke comic strip is simple. It follows a family and their troublemaking but loving Great Dane. Now, as I see it, this film had the opportunity to do one of two things. Number one, they could have taken the time to compile various strips that made sense in a storyline and scripted it into a movie. To me, that's the given. Option two, we are dealing with an open-ended comic strip. sky is the fucking limit. Charlie Brown Christmas and Charlie Brown the Great Pumpkin, two of the most famous cartoon TV movies of all time, aren't based off of a single Peanuts comic strip. The writers literally had that dog in them. Oh, well, that's not fair. Snoopy doesn't have to talk, so that's much less work for the Peanuts writers. Bullshit, motherfucker. Yeah, you're right. Snoopy doesn't talk. He's just that fucking guy, okay? He does cool shit almost consistently without dropping a single bar. You know who else doesn't talk? Marmaduke.
But if you think being a big, awkward teenager is about the worst thing that can happen to you, try being a 200-pound teenage dog with a radar dish wrapped around your neck. Oh yeah, that'll make me real popular.
Shut up. So here's the story we're going with. The Winslows have just relocated from rural Kansas to Orange County, California, because the father, Phil, is a marketing director at a dog food company. And I guess they need him there. I don't know. They actually, they don't even try to explain it. The whole setup for this movie is honestly giving witness protection vibes. I mean, listen to the way they speak to each other.
This is our shot. California, the big leagues.
In the big leagues, they take steroids and cheat with supermodels.
It's a marketing job with an organic pet food company. I think we'll be okay.
Phil pretty much spends the entirety of the movie kissing the feet of his corporate boss who consistently treats him like shit. And I just have to say, that is the single worst A-plot I have ever heard of in a family movie. Marmaduke, however, doesn't do a single thing you'd expect him to do, ever. Marmaduke's B-plot follows Marmaduke and his new dog friends through what feels like an uncanny parallel world for dogs among the humans. This type of plot is what leads us into the trap of the shenanigans movie, meaning when you take a step back from the goofs and really look at the film as a whole, you realize that nothing of substance actually happened. That being said, the film's true downfall comes from an aggressive attempt to make the dogs as human-like as possible for absolutely no reason. When Marmaduke plays Dance Dance Revolution and all of a sudden goes fully CGI, my stomach turns. Other than a lack of solid storytelling and the movie just overall being annoying, I think the thing that pisses me off most about this one is the consistent defiance towards the source material. For example, did you know that George Lopez is in this one too?
Waffles, waffles. Yes! Saturday morning waffles. Gotta love the Dubster.
Take it easy, man. A waffle is to be savored, not inhaled.
Hey, this is my stepbro Carlos, by the way. Say hey, Carlos.
Hey, Carlos.
He's pretty cool for a cat.
Okay, pause. Here is the character breakdown for Marmaduke. Unless I have incredibly intense dyslexia, I don't see Carlos anywhere. I do, however, see a Siamese cat named King Tut, who is seemingly the only character based on the author's real life. So this tells me one of two things. Number one, the writers on this project must have hated Brad Anderson a lot. And number two, this is just blatant racial tokenizing. Obviously, it's fine that George Lopez is playing this role. Anyone of any ethnicity, of any shape and size could have played this role. That's not the point. You named him Carlos. Look, guys, at the end of the day, it doesn't take a genius to know that this one was a hard miss. I actually remember seeing this one in theaters as a kid. Didn't like it. There are just so many of these films to choose from, and they all take generally the same format, right? Like, they gave us Air Buddies, and Snow Buddies, and Space Buddies, and Santa Buddies, I'll keep going, and Spooky Buddies, and Treasure Buddies, and Super Buddies. Studios were putting bullshit right under our noses for years, and we just took it. Like, did you guys know that they made a prequel to Marley and Me? Yeah, they made a half-assed, low-budget children's movie about one of the most ill-fated dogs in pop culture. Not only that, in this one, Marley fucking talks. The implication that Marley was fully capable of speech as a puppy and then at some point lost the ability in adolescence is rather dark. It's sad to look back at these movies in order of release because the big takeaway that you'll get is that as time went on, dog movies just continued to get worse. But with that in mind, it's time to forget the past and move on to the present. Because ladies, gentlemen, everything in between, we're so fucking back. Strays, the 2023 film starring Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx, may have single-handedly revived the talking dog movie after years of non-stop failure. Strays took everything bad about the talking dog movie, fixed it, and then innovated on top of it. Because the creators of this film realized something revolutionary that, shockingly, not a single dog movie had attempted to date. Make it rated R.
Today is gonna be the best day ever. How do I know that? Because every day is the best day ever. I love my life. I love sunshine, I love butterflies, but more than anything, I love Doug.
Hey! Shut the fuck up!
Fucking piece of shit.
Why nobody thought of this sooner is a true mystery, but what I can tell you for certain is that this movie is a genuinely great time. So this dog's name is Reggie, and as you saw, he has this owner, Doug, who ruthlessly hates him. He consistently tries to abandon Reggie in various parts of town, but Reggie loves Doug so much that he always finds his way home. It's such a good setup. He eventually does bring Reggie far enough away that he can't find his way home, and from there, he meets his new stray dog friends who offer to help him get home, and the journey ensues. This film could have easily just relied on the dogs cursing every 5 seconds, and they do that.
Oh shit, look! Okay, here's the plan. You grab the sausages, and I'll go over there and fuck the guy's leg as a distraction. And break!
I don't think fucking the guy's leg is necessary.
But as I said at the beginning, it's how you work around those crutches that make the film unique. One of the ways they go about this is by throwing in little interruptive bits to acknowledge the monotony and corniness that typically comes with a talking dog movie.
I could tell James felt different about this human girl. Maybe it was because she smelled like biscuits. Or maybe it was because something about her was special.
Excuse me, do you know where we can get some food around here?
As I was saying, James thought he was helping this girl, but the truth is, she was helping him.
Oh, fuck this bullshit.
Additionally, it's a movie that totally ignores human standards and instead focuses on showing us the world completely through the eyes of a stray dog. For example, one of the landmarks that Reggie uses when he's trying to find his way home is something he calls the devil in the sky, but it's not until much later in the film that you find out what that actually is.
Oh, look! The devil in the sky! We made it!
Look at that fucking guy!
Burn in hell, you motherfucking son of a bitch.
I think that joke had an incredible payoff, but it's because it's so simple. Like, anyone of any age could understand the comedy there. In another scene, when they go to the fair and try and steal food, there's a fireworks display that starts going off, and they interpret it as God trying to punish and attack them for stealing food. It's amazing. All of this said, and like I said at the beginning, I think the success of this film comes from the creative team's willingness to truly celebrate and embrace the dog for what it is. After all, we as human beings love our animals so much that we will dedicate millions of dollars just to see them speak for 90 minutes. No matter how poor the film, someone on that creative team decided to make it part of their life's work. The most vulnerable and passionate thing we as humans can do for another. For years, it felt like dogs were becoming vessels in films. Small, lifelike fursuits stuffed with government-created dark matter. But movies like Strays give me hope for the future of not just talking dog movies, but comedy movies in general. And as we move into this next recession, I can only hope that the art form will blossom. So yeah, if you couldn't tell, I really like dogs. And that's what I have to say about it. Let me know what you thought about it. Let me know. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and just fucking punch the screen. Like, mash your hand into the screen until it's bloody. 2025 is gonna be a big year for Andy King. We're gonna be doing a lot more cool videos like this. Cool guy stuff. Cool. Okay, until next time. Yeah, that's it for me. That's it for me. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Maybe you'll be able to.